Okay guys, now that you have started your bell ringer, today we're going to actually talk about characterization and how behavior is affected by social norms, okay? We're going to be able to cite several pieces of textual evidence. You guys will be able to participate in class discussion. And then lastly, you're going to write a response to support your claim on behavior being affected by social norms, okay? So before we get there, let's talk about social norms. What are social norms? That was your bell ringer. So if I can get Maddie to go to the board.
The clothes that you wear for different buildings.
Manners. Anything else? Yes.
Whether you follow laws or you don't follow.
Very good. Okay, so we have on here manners. What does that mean? How are manners part of our social norms? Yes, Ara?
Saying please and thank you.
Being able to say please and thank you. Being able to say excuse me if you bump into someone. Those are all social norms. These are things that we do every day or expected to do when we are in certain situations. Very good. What about following laws? How is that a social norm? Yes,
It shows you're like a respectful citizen and you're like a part of society.
he said it shows that you're a respectful citizen, that you are a productive member of society. Okay. What about your educational background? How is that a social norm? Sneha?
You could like show your social status.
How?
Like if you're poor, you're not gonna have a very good educational background. But if you're like rich and come from like a educational family, you're gonna have like a good education.
Okay. All right. And what about clothes? Yes.
If you wear like nicer clothes, you're supposed to be more like rich or wealthy or more upper class.
Okay. And does it have anything to do with the setting? Does clothes have anything to do with setting? Amy?
Like if you go to church, there's certain clothing that you have to wear. Or if you go to school, there's a uniform.
Exactly. Very good. Very good. Characterization. What is characterization? Okay. All right. Can I get someone to come to the board? Okay. What is characterization? Yes, ma'am.
It's how people describe you.
Okay, so how you're described, okay? All right. So it's how you are described in life, okay? Now, let's talk about a specific character, how the Grinch Stole Christmas. We're all familiar with that story, okay? All right, and so let's use our characterization chart to be able to analyze him. So what are some things that he says that would tell us about his personality? Ara?
I'm going to steal Christmas.
I'm going to steal Christmas, okay? What is something that he does?
He takes presents from little kids to steal like the spirit of Christmas.
Okay, so he takes all the gifts from under the tree. What else does he take?
He takes Christmas decorations and the food.
The decorations. So he takes presents, he takes decorations, and he takes the food. Very good. What does he think? What does he think, Maren?
He thinks that if he takes all the presents away, then all the children will be unhappy like he is.
Very good. He thinks if he takes the presents, if he takes these materialistic things, that he will be able to take Christmas. Okay? How do others view the Grinch? Yes, Harsha?
I think they feel a little bad for him because he's always at he's at like the top of the mountain. He was a recluse from the rest of the society, so he's a little awkward.
Okay, so they might think he's awkward. He's definitely a recluse. He has removed himself from the city, and he's at the top of the mountain. Okay, so because he's a recluse, because no one actually gets a chance to talk to him, what do they think about him? Ara?
They think that he's like mean and cunning and
That he might be mean, he might be a little cunning, he might be a little aggressive. Okay, they definitely feel that he is part of the unknown. Okay, very good. And what does he look like, Lar?
He's green, which can be associated with envy, sort of.
Very good. So he's green, and his color could be associated with being envious. Very good. Very good. Great job. And we have reviewed social norms. We're going to apply it to our text. We've been reading a novel, To Kill a Mockingbird. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and discuss how behaviors in our novel can be associated with the social norms of the time period. So we're going to investigate characterization and social norms. Okay? Is character behavior fueled by society rules? Okay? I want you to tell me using your metacognitive marker. Remember, you're thinking about thinking. And I want you to remember, if you agree, you're going to use your red. If you disagree, you're going to use your blue. Okay? Do you believe that character behavior is fueled by society rules? If you agree, show your red metacognitive marker and be able to support why. Maddie?
I feel this way because within the novel, a lot of the characters, how they behave is based off of the society's behaviors. For example, a lot of the segregation that comes from the society, such as that African Americans and other minorities should live away from the white people.
Very good, very good. Okay, well, let's go ahead and try to prove this theory. So, here I have a few social norms in Macomb County, okay? I want you to look at these social norms and be able to discuss them in relation to our novel. So, segregation and race. How is that a social norm?
So like blacks live a separate place than the whites. So example from To Kill a Mockingbird, the whites would live in this nice neighborhood where everybody knew each other, while the blacks would live behind the town dump.
Very good, very good. What about family history? How is that a social norm, Ty?
Because depending on what last name you have or what family you come from, it depends on how you act.
Very good. So what she said was based on your last name, that would predetermine how you're going to behave in society. So give me an example of a character in our novel.
Stephanie Crawford, she gossiped a lot, and Aunt Alexandra felt she had a streak from her older people, from her parents, that they also gossiped. So she felt that streak ran through the family.
Very good. What about socioeconomic status? Yes, Harsha?
Economic status affected a lot of characters, especially Dolphus Raymond. He was the town's drum, and that was a reason because he gave to stay with minorities. And another reason why people wouldn't harm him is because he was also rich, which helped him not be harmed by KKK or any of the other classes because he stayed with minorities.
Very good. She mentioned and she referenced Dolphus Raymond and how he was wealthy. And even though he was considered the town's drum, his socioeconomic status saved him from being ridiculed, okay, because he liked to socialize with minorities. Very good. What about educational background? How is that a social norm in Macomb County?
It explains how like high up you are and like your smartness, I would say, because if you are like smarter than other people, it would explain how like rich you are.
Okay, it would explain, and it would put you on a different level than everybody else. What else?
It kind of explains your social economic status based on how much education you have or how much you go to school.
Very good. She said that the educational background definitely ties into socioeconomic status, because if you have educational background, then you're more likely to make more money, and therefore you'll be part of a different group. Okay? All right, what about job status?
They think that people with like better and higher jobs should be like richer and more respected. For example, Atticus, because he's a lawyer, so people respect him more and think of him on a higher level.
Very good. What about safety in Macomb? How is this a social norm?
It's like people are like trustworthy. So in the book To Kill a Mockingbird on Sundays, everybody in Atticus's neighborhood will leave like their windows and all their doors open. And this shows that everybody in the neighborhood trusts each other and everybody knows each other.
Very good. And what about titles?
So, like, during the case, like, Mayella was being called ma'am from Atticus, but she thought it was an insult because she was never called ma'am. So it shows, like, people pick who they're, or, like, people don't pick, but they have to call some people Mr. or Mrs. But if you talk, like, look at, like, the minorities, people would just call them their name, and they wouldn't be saying Mr. or Mrs. even if they were, like, 100 years older than them.
Exactly. So the title had a lot to do with Tom Robinson. Whenever he was being talked to in court, they never said Mr. Robinson. They always referred to him as Tom, and sometimes even Boy. Okay? Very good. All right, here. What was happening to make people feel this way? Okay? To make people behave this way. So let's look at a few of the laws. All right? So, for example, if you were a nurse, No person or corporation shall require any white female nurse to nurse in wards or rooms in hospitals, either public or private, in which Negro men are placed. So you are not required to be able to serve a minority if you were a nurse, okay? Riding the bus. All passenger stations in this state operated by any motor transportation company shall have separate waiting rooms, separate ticket windows for the white and colored races. So you were not even allowed to be able to go to the same window to purchase your ticket. Okay? Restaurants, unlawful to conduct a restaurant or other place for the serving of food in the city at which white and colored people are served in the same room. Pool rooms, it shall be unlawful for a Negro and white person to play together or in company with each other at any game of pool. So you couldn't even play in the same area. Okay? Toilet facilities, every employer of white or Negro male shall provide for such white or Negro males reasonably accessible in separate toilet facilities. So you had to have separate restrooms, which we saw when we were looking at the civil rights pictures. Intermarriages, all marriages between a white person and a Negro, or between a white person and a person of Negro descent to the fourth generation inclusive, are hereby forever prohibited. So you were not allowed to marry, which would definitely connect to which character? Adolphus Raymond. Okay, in education, the schools for white children, the schools for Negro children shall be conducted separately. Okay, so these are a few of the laws that were taking place during that time period. Now, because we have the laws and we know about the social norms, let's look at our characters in our novel. Okay, their behavior. Okay, so we have some characters that adhere to social norms, and we have some that defy social norms. Okay, so let's discuss those a little bit. So the seating in the courtroom. Can someone tell me how that adheres to social norms? Yes, ma'am.
So during the trial, these white people and minorities really separated themselves, as the white people would sit in the bottom, while the minorities would go to the balcony and sit up there.
Very good. What about fear of the unknown? Yes, Ara?
People didn't know who Boo Radley was, some of the kids, and they started making a lot of gossip about him and saying that he's an evil creature.
Very good. All because they didn't know him. So it adheres to social norms because they fear what they don't know. Okay? What about school attendance? Hershey?
School attendance would also come with educational backgrounds.
Okay.
Because of how rich or poor you were. So Walter and Bryce Steele, they did not go to school for a long time, and they also didn't go to more grades. They didn't pass all the grades because they had to go back home.
Very good. Very good. So school attendance is a social norm. It's okay if you were not able to go to school. It's not like today where you get in a lot of trouble for missing several days of school. During this time period, it was normal for those students whose parents worked in the farm for them to have to stop and go and help, right? Honey, I'm a student. You're absolutely right. So when we're talking about Bob Ewell and his family, we have to consider all that it's going to affect, right? So it's a social norm to be able to provide assistance to this family, right? And so just like we have assistance today, the county, Macomb County, they were able to provide him with assistance so that way his children wouldn't starve, okay? So it's a social norm. What about members of social clubs? How is that a social norm? Yes.
Once Alexander and Missionary were a little bit of a social club, and they would talk about all of these people in Africa and how they had different religion and how they were being mistreated. And it was also a little bit weird because they're like the same as the minorities, and they don't treat them like
Very good, very good. All right, let's talk about those that defy social norms. Mayella's attack on Tom Robinson, her attack on Tom. How is that defying social norms? How is that act defying social norms of the time period?
Because minorities and whites weren't equal at the time, and so they couldn't even do stuff together, talk together, help each other out, or feel sorry for each other, and stuff like that, or even connect with each other. But Mayala kissed him, which was not even pitiful to Agnes's point of view in court, and that caused a whole controversy, and they thought it was shameful, so she covered it up by saying that.
Very good, very good. Okay, so how does the dress attire defy social norms? Yes, ma'am.
So in the book, so if you think about it, girls are supposed to wear dresses, and that's how a society thinks they should be like. But in the book, Scout she wears overalls because she always hangs out with Jem and Dill, and she thinks they're way more comfortable than dresses. So she's defying the social norm of girls have to wear dresses.
Very good. What about women performing work outside? Yes, Amy?
Back then, women were always supposed to be working inside the house because they had like children to take care of. But Miss Maudie, she was working outside in her garden.
Very good. What about being reclusive? Yes.
It was really weird because everybody at this time were really close. There was like one big neighborhood. So people like the Radleys, they were like crazy to everyone because they shut their doors when it was open some days and everything was unlocked. So.
Very good. And what about Dolphus Raymond's relationships?
It's kind of defying the social norms because he's with a minority and he has mixed children. So he's not like, because of the social norms, he's supposed to stay with his race and stuff, but he's doing with the different.
Very good. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to do some deep thinking, okay? I'm going to have you guys create 2 questions on behavior and characterization that are associated with the novel To Kill a Mockingbird, okay? So you're going to create 2 questions, one on behavior and one on characterization that are associated with our novel. I'm going to give you a few minutes to create your questions. Let me know if you have questions. All right, guys, now that you have your 2 questions completed, what I want you to do is go ahead and get into the visual strategy. All right, very good. So now we're going to go ahead and discuss characterization and behavior of our characters in To Kill a Mockingbird. You may begin.
How do the behavioral norms now differ and are similar to Kill a Mockingbird?
Now today, it's not as weird for, or it's not as defining the social norms for a minority to be with like a white person. It's like more common.
And then also, today it might not be as safe for children to just be let out because in the novel To Kill a Mockingbird, it said every Sunday that children were just allowed to go outside and doors and windows would be open, but today a lot of children can't do that.
Also, I also believe that some social norms still stay, like if you're poor, most people won't respect you. It also depends on your jobs or educational backgrounds.
I feel like some of them, like they changed over time because back then, now girls still wear dresses and stuff, but if you look at back then, they didn't wear overalls or other things like that. But now girls will go around wearing shorts like Nike shorts and t-shirts and tank tops, and girls back then didn't do that.
Let's ask a new question. How does the author develop the theme in the story?
She develops theme by giving us a set of problems and that deal with racism and sexism in those years. Like the trial with Tom Robinson, where Tom Robinson was committed guilty for something he did not do, as well as Bob Ewell attacking Jem and Scout, and Boo Radley saving them.
So, like, how does the author's use of details contribute to create the behavior of like Scout?
So the behaviors of Scout, she wore all overalls, which contradicted and defied social norms. Like, Aunt Alexandra did not like that, but she still went against it.
Why do you think that it's, like, how do you think it's different from Now and Then, that in the story, Scout got bullied because her father was defending a black man? How do you think that could have been different now?
I think there's like many different people and different races that are friends, so I don't think it's that weird now that that Scout was, now it's weird that Scout was bullied.
Adding on to what Harsha said, now it's like more common for a white man to be dating a black man. Most people are like, helping one another out, and they're not restricted to making sure that each race should be like separated. How does the author develop the character and fear of Boo Radley to present society rules and make them?
She does that by representing how Boo Radley, he was kind of a recluse as well as his family, and they always stayed inside. And they made up a lot of rumors about how he would come out at night and stare at people through their window, or that anything from there was basically poisonous, or he would die from doing anything there. And that represents how Maycomb's community was, that they were very open and friendly with each other.
tying into what we were talking about earlier with the social norms and everything, the fear of the unknown. So he wasn't very well known by the community of Macomb, or his entire family wasn't really well known, except for like his father, and that was only to a couple of people. So all the kids were like afraid of him, and they didn't really like him at all.
Okay, very good. All right. Now that you have had a chance to discuss character, behavior, and social norms, what I want you guys to do now is choose a character from our novel, okay? And you're going to create a still chart, okay? You're going to complete the still chart based on that character. You can choose Atticus Finch, Boo Radley, Mayella Yule, Bob Yule, Aunt Alexandra, Scout Finch, and Judge Taylor, okay? So choose one, and I want you to tell me, what does the character say, what does the character do, what does the character think, what does the character look like, and how do others view this particular character? I'll give you a few minutes to work on that. Very good. So now that you have completed your still chart, I want to use our metacognitive markers so that way we can share our thoughts. Okay, so food for thought. Do you think that the behaviors associated with the characters are influenced by their social norms and Macomb? Okay, so that's the question. Do you think that the behaviors are influenced by the social norms in Macomb County? If you agree, red. If you disagree, blue. Cards up. Okay. All right, Laura, can you tell me why you agree? Why do you believe that behaviors are associated with the social norms?
I believe that the behaviors are associated with the social norms because things like whenever Mayella kissed Tom Robinson, she didn't think that was right because usually back then the minorities wouldn't end up like with someone that was white or whatever. So then after she kissed him, she felt like bad and felt like it was wrong to do that.
Okay, and so what does she do?
Then she accuses him of raping her.
Very good, right. She starts this lie, right? It kind of spirals out of control to save her from being crucified by the town. Very good. Anybody else? Yes, Ara?
I also agree because like Boo Radley, like early in the book, he was he had to be in his house for like 15 years with his father because of what he's done. And even though he was actually a really nice guy, as we figured out in the end, he was classified as a phantom, and somebody was like horrible and was gonna kill everybody and terrorize people at night. But his behavior early made people associate with the social norms and showed that he was actually a bad guy.
Very good, very good. So what he did prior to, right, made everyone believe that he was this evil person. Yes?
Scout was also affected by social norms.
Okay.
While she did wear overalls and did not dress like women, in the story she also told her cousin Frances that boys cannot cook.
Okay. Right. And so what Hershey said was that Scout actually admits that boys should not cook whenever she says that she's going to cook, and Francis says he would like to as well, right? And he kind of gives some information from Aunt Alexandria, right, that a man should be able to cook for his wife, okay? So yes, their behaviors are definitely influenced by their social norms, okay? Now, to close our lesson, we're going to dance forward, but we're going to just review. So rate means that we have to read the question. A means we have to answer our parts. T is for and explain and expand. Okay? So when we are providing our textual support, not only do we provide a quote, but what do we have to make sure we do with that quote?
Explain the quote.
We have to explain it, and what else do we have to do with the actual quote in the writing? We have to blend it. We have to use quotes in context. Okay? So I'm going to give you your prompt. How is the behavior of your chosen character affected by social norms or societal rules in Macon? Okay, so using the character that you chose for your still chart, I want you guys to tell me how they are affected by social norms. You may begin. Good job, guys. Now that we have finished our lesson, I would like for someone to recap what we've learned today. Yes?
We learned about characterization using style, speech, thoughts, effects on others, actions, and looks.
Very good. Very good. Anybody else? What else did you learn today?
We were able to use ideas from the novel and incorporate them with our own by using the fishbowl strategy.
Very good. And can someone else tell me what else we did?
We learned about social norms and different visual modes of them.
Very good. And last
Listen
one.
how characters, like, they either follow the social norms or they either defy the social norms in relating to the novel.
Very good. All right. Do we have any questions regarding characterization and or social norms? No? Okay, so let's talk about your homework. For tonight, I want you to continue reading your AR book and for you to begin writing your essay, What Does Freedom Mean to Me?